Hey, what's up, guys? Cash Money Card of the Week number 5 here. And this week's Cash Money Card of the Week is Fabled Raven. Now, this isn't going to be very long because this card is pretty obvious on what uses you use it for, because it doesn't really have many uses in a lot of decks, but there's only one deck that you use it in that it's really effective in, which is why this card is so expensive, and that is Dark Worlds. So before I continue on with anything, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the effect. Once per turn, you can discard any number of cards from your hand and increase the level of this card by the number of discarded cards until the end phase. This card also gains attack equal to the number of discarded cards times 400 until the end phase. Alright. Well, that effect is so broken because in Dark Worlds, there we go, line this up a little bit more. In Dark Worlds, all of the card's effects are when they get discarded to the graveyard. So, in some outrageous situations, you can pretty much discard like your whole entire hand, special summon all those cards, and have a tuner on your side of the field. So, with the tuner, you can synchro, or if you have a hand just full of Dark Worlds, it's times 400 for every card sent to the graveyard, and that adds up to be a lot if you've discarded a lot of cards. And his attack is already 1300, so it'll only take about 3-4 cards for him to be a pretty high attack level, even though it's only till the end phase. But he's still really useful in Dark Worlds, even if you only have like one Dark World in your hand. Like, not including Grapha, if it's like gold or silver. I'm not sure if they have the same amount of stars, so don't quote me on it. But I'm pretty sure they are. They're pretty much the same card, except one says gold and the other one says silver, like gold and silver. But pretty much just the gold or the silver, special summon it, and the Raven, then you can synchro. So it'll be at 3 stars, and they're at like 5, so you can sync for like 8 or something like that. So that's another really good effect about it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to just leave gold or silver on the field by itself, but I'm sure that you'd probably be able to synchro into something better with it. Plus, it also gives this deck the ability to run like a mind control, although I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it still has the ability to just, here, let me take your card, ditch some, special summon a bunch, mind control your guy, and then synchro. And then your field's probably going to be empty. This format tends to not have very many monsters in the field at once, unless you're running plant synchros, which is still a really effective deck. But a lot of decks nowadays is just like drop the BLS and that's your one card in the field, or drop the JD and that's your one card in the field. You don't really see decks that swarm a ton. Like a lot of Dark World decks that I've dueled before, they normally will just have their graph on the field. Maybe they'll have like a gold or a silver or something like that on the field, or maybe they'll just summon like their brow in attack mode if they're gonna get game. But a lot of times they like to keep their brow in their hand, but they might either set or summon that. But like I said, you normally only see like one big beater on their side of the field. But aside from Dark Worlds, it's also really effective in Fableds. Although back when it was only Fableds that were around, the card was only like 20 bucks. And for a secret rare, that's pretty low. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious why it wasn't very expensive, because Fableds are good, but there's better decks out there, and Fableds are way too hard to make for how ineffective they are. As far as I know, a lot of the Fable cards come out in a ton of different packs. Like Raven comes out of Extreme Victory, I believe. And a lot of the other Fables come out of like a Hidden Arsenal. And some of the other Fables come out of a different pack. So you need to get all of those different packs to even make a Fabled deck. So back when Fabled Raven was around and not many people wanted to make Fableds, it was really cheap. Then the Dark Worlds came out, and the price just skyrocketed from there and went all the way up to about right now it's at like 60 or even 70 you will see it at, because it's too good. And you don't even have to pick your whole entire hand. You can pick whatever Dark Worlds you want in your deck. I mean, not deck, but in your hand. So you can leave some of them there, like You can leave your brows and your whatever that other guy is, but you probably don't want to. It's like an extra card destruction or morphing jar, except you don't have to get rid of your magics and traps, which is really really good. And the fact that it's a tuner just makes it better. And the fact that it just gains 400 attack for every card ditched still makes it even better. And it just adds a lot more consistency to the deck. Takes out it makes dead hands the hands that you can work something with. It's like, because card destruction and morphing jar are limited to one, Fabled Raven is just another one of your outs where you can get rid of your hand to do something new or to make something out of a all monster hand. Um, but I think maybe you'll be seeing Fabled Raven a little bit less. It's not, I have, like, whenever I duel Dark World, you normally don't see it, mainly because it's really expensive, and the fact that you see really funky builds with Dark Worlds because there's just so much draw power in the deck. Like, you can run, uh, I can't believe I'm getting stuck here. Trade in with the deck. And you can also, I mean, you can run trade in, ditch the Grapha, and draw two. And then you can just normal summon and bounce the card back to your hand, and then you have a Grapha on your field. And then you can use, like, your Dark World dealings and ditch, like, the Brow or whatever the heck you had in your hand that you just, bounce back to summon the Grapha and then draw two. I mean, there's, like, some really weird builds of the deck just because there's so much draw power in the deck itself. So, it's like Dark Worlds is becoming more of an engine now, rather than just a deck type. But normally decks that run the Dark Worlds are just flat out Dark Worlds, but Dark Worlds can also be a really nice engine because of all the draw power in it. Um, but I guess that's about all I have to say about the Fabled Raven. If you have any other opinions or suggestions on this card and any other tips that you can give me on it, just leave in a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next week.